If you are dying to loosen up your paintings, but you're stumped when it comes to how to actually get there, it's easy to feel like your current overworked approach to painting is just a fixed personality trait, unchangeable. You might conclude, well, maybe I'm just a naturally type painter, or maybe I just don't see the world as loosely and colorfully as my favorite artists do, and feel trapped. If you're struggling with making the switch to a looser, alla prima painting style, watch this video, because I'm going to take you start to finish through how I teach myself a new way of loose painting. This is ideal for oil painters who have solid foundations already, but simply find that they are working too tightly and too slowly for their own liking. And if you're finding the journey of becoming more painterly in your work especially frustrating, I'm hosting a free masterclass on Monday, June 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern, where I'm going to go through this process in even more depth. Click on the link in the description to sign up. Before we jump in, I want to talk about a particular challenge that teachers like myself face when helping others to work through a painting challenge. Usually the teacher is so experienced that the student naturally doubts that the same results are possible for them. So when I walk you through just how easy it is to make improvements in your portraiture as a portrait artist, well, it could be easy for you as the student to tell yourself, okay, well, it's easy enough for Chelsea because she's been painting portraits like this for years now. And that's a really good point. So today, I'm gonna do something outside of my comfort zone, do something new, and try landscapes instead of portraiture. I have no formula for this. I can tighten up a landscape as easily as the next person because I am not constantly training myself on how to paint landscapes loosely. This means that my experience is gonna be much closer to yours. This is all new for me. I don't have a bunch of shortcuts that I've stockpiled here. All I have is a system for how I solve problems when they come up and a method for reverse engineering my way to a specific goal painting style. But I want you to rest assured that even though I'm showing you this in landscape, what I'm going to show you applies to portraits, and by the end of the video, I will show you how. To kick off this learning process, I need to start the same way I have all of my students start. I need to have a clear image in my head of the kind of painting, the kind of loose painting that I want to make. Now, you might not need this every single time. Some great paintings have been made when the artist simply wings it and tries something new. But when we have a singular goal of training ourselves to work in a new, looser way, we learn way faster when we're crystal clear on what our end result actually looks like. So before I made this painting, I followed the process that I laid out in this YouTube video linked above to put together a vision board for the kinds of paintings that I want to create. And within it, I have an entire section dedicated to painterly plein air landscapes. Following the steps in that video, I got to the point where my vision board for these landscapes looks pretty cohesive. The paintings have similar compositions, similar colors, similar brushwork. This is a super helpful guide as it's going to tell us and tell me exactly what I need to paint to get the kind of looseness that I want. Now, all I have to do is go out and find the kind of reference that builds this painting for me. And this next part goes out to my student Kitty, who knows it is tough getting exactly the reference that you want, especially when it comes to colorful landscapes. Capturing the color in the moment is nearly impossible with a camera, and oftentimes the color is there for mere seconds before the light changes and the moment is lost. It can leave you kind of feeling damned if you do, damned if you don't. Either you paint plein air so that you can really capture the color as you see it in person, but then the light changes so fast that you can't get what you want down on canvas. Or you take out your camera just in time, but when you take it into Lightroom later, you realize that the color looks nothing like it did on location. Chances are you still simply aren't close enough to what you're looking for. And I'm going to illustrate why with my reference photo here. To get the reference for this painting, I went out with my camera, I tried my best, I took a bunch of photos, I compiled these over time. This wasn't something that I just did just last Tuesday. Literally, this photo reference is from hundreds that I've taken, and this particular photo is actually years old. The reason that I could do this is that I knew what my painting goal looked like even years ago, courtesy of my inspiration board. All I had to do was wait until I had the right opportunity to take the right reference photo. And then I just had to double check that I had genuine overlap between a reference photo that I had taken and the kinds of compositions that are on my inspiration board. To make this process of identifying how closely my reference aligns with my goal even easier, I created an inspiration board just for this painting reference, looking at paintings that were specifically cloudscapes with the kind of lighting, color, brushwork, everything that I wanted. I put them all onto one board by themselves, and then I did my best to organize that board by similar paintings. So paintings with really blue skies went in one corner, more or less, and pieces with a lot of pink and oranges went into another. And if you're looking at these paintings closely, if you're looking at this inspiration board closely, you may notice that I did one more thing. I put my reference on the board. I did my best once the board was organized to figure out the best place where the reference photo looks like it just blends in the most. And I'd say I did a pretty decent job because at first glance, I can't readily identify which of these paintings are my reference versus which are the inspiration paintings. This is how I know that I am set up for success with my reference. Even without it being painted, it already looks like the painting that I want to paint. And this isn't some landscape secret. Trust me, I don't have any of those. The exact same method that I just talked you through works for portraiture, works for animals, works for figures, or even still life. And I'm going to talk through examples like these in that free masterclass that I have coming up on Monday the 10th. But as a teaser, here is an example of a photo reference that blends in with my horse inspiration board, as well as a portrait reference that blends in with my portraiture board. My hope is that in showing you this, you can get a genuinely clear picture of how you can build the skill of design and start getting exactly the references that you need to paint from that are going to set you up for success and make your painting job easier. But now that we have this down, what about the actual painting? The good news is that this becomes so much simpler when you actually have a reference that is similar to the paintings whose loose style or technique you want to learn from. By the way, this is also true for just professionals making really successful paintings in general. They don't just work off of any old reference. Once they have an aesthetic or a style that they've solidified for themselves, they are really crystal clear on what kind of reference sets them up to make that kind of painting. So I want you to remember this video when you take a look at one of your favorite paintings from one of your favorite painters. Chances are they put just as much care into the process of selecting their reference than we are now. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a boost, because taking this approach really does encourage you to treat your painting practice like the pros do. So from here, the reference photo should already have the composition, the colors, and the value structure worked out. If it didn't, it wouldn't look like it belonged on your inspiration board. But if in doubt, compare it to a specific painting on your board. How similar are they? Could you potentially find an inspirational painting that's even closer to your reference photo? Or choose a reference photo that's even closer to an inspirational painting that's on your board? Once that's done, all you really need is the technique that you're going to use for the brushwork. In my case, after analyzing the paintings on my inspiration board, I saw that these pieces were using a lot more impasto, both from the brush and from the palette knife, than I put in my work currently. They also tended to use the knife more to build the paint up thicker in the areas depicting sunlight. So areas that are really, really warm, light, bright, white, all of these are going to need thicker impasto, and they're more likely to use the knife versus the brush. This gives me really useful clues that I can put to work in my own painting. Now, if you want to practice in a way that will really teach you what it feels like to make the kind of painting that you're inspired by, this is where a master study is invaluable. By trying to match a painting you want to learn from, brushstroke by brushstroke, you will naturally start to develop a feel and make realizations that you can then apply to your own original painting. I like to use this as a warm-up for this reason, as you've seen me do before with this John Singer Sargent series, where I create an original painting that's informed by Sargent's style and color choices. I'll link that above for you to check out if you would like to get a sense of how that would actually work in practice. But completing a master study is an exercise that you could always revisit as a way to continue to hone your mark making skills. It's not just something you have to do as a warm-up. And it's not just about the mark making either. It can teach you how to mix more nuanced color or control your value structure that much more precisely, or give you deeper insights into the kinds of compositions you respond to or nuances of the drawing that you really want to attune to. In this painting exercise today, I made mark making my primary goal. I wanted to get the kind of impasto that I saw on my inspiration board, and I was less concerned with the precise accuracy in my drawing or dialing in my values and my color perfectly. So I worked and I reworked areas, testing different brushes, loading up more and more paint until I started to see the kinds of marks that I was satisfied with. Now, if I happen to have got stuck on this painting, this is where I would probably go back to a master study and actually try to replicate areas of impasto in a painting that I admire as closely as I possibly can. And then I would try to apply the same technique back in the original painting. And that may be a next step now that I finished this particular piece. I've got a lot more practice and confidence with a looser technique that uses thicker paint than I'm used to. And for today, that's enough for me to be really satisfied. But to continue to refine this skill and hone this process, my best bet is to actually try to replicate the passages of paintings that I love as precisely as possible until I develop a better, more intuitive feel for that brushwork that I can translate back to my own paintings. The truth is, just about any skill with painting takes repetition. No single exercise will transform your art overnight, but there are exercises or ways of structuring your practice that minimize wheel spinning, and they help you to grow in the most efficient way possible. And that's what I really love figuring out, and that's exactly what the topic of Monday's masterclass is going to be. So if you enjoyed this video and want to go deeper to understand how to apply this framework to your own paintings so that you can finally start painting more loosely, I'd love to have you join me for Monday's free masterclass. It'll be a great opportunity to ask me questions live as well. I look forward to seeing you there, and until then, happy painting.